unspoken truths. My sister no longer walked into rooms with the same confidence she once did. She hesitated before speaking, watching every reaction, unsure if her words would be judged or twisted. She had begun to understand the consequences of her actions and the reality of the years she had benefited at my expense. My mom, however, refused to admit fault. She continued to try to manipulate conversations, to spin stories, to protect her favorite child. Whenever my sister faltered, she would whisper reminders of how much you've been through, trying to justify her previous choices. She tried to pit us against each other, hoping I would forgive, hoping the sister would bend, hoping the family image would remain intact. I saw it clearly this time. I refused to let her control me. I refused to be gaslighted or silenced. I had spent too many years in shadows, too many nights exhausted and unnoticed. I wasn't about to let her rewrite history. My sister, on the other hand, had begun to confront herself. She started looking for part-time work, saving money, and living without the financial crutches she had relied on for years. She would call me sometimes, hesitant and quiet, asking questions about money management or about how I had survived independently for so long. She was learning the hard way, and she was slowly growing into her own person outside of my mother's manipulations. I started noticing small changes in her attitude. She apologized more sincerely, without expecting immediate forgiveness. She admitted to friends and distant relatives that she had benefited unfairly. She tried to make amends where she could, though she knew some damage was permanent. Despite this, tension remained. My mom's attempts to control the narrative didn't stop. She would make subtle comments during gatherings, try to elicit sympathy from my sister, or subtly shame me for bringing up the past. But I had learned to disengage. I focused on my life, on my work, on my own financial independence. I realized the only way to protect myself was to remain steady, calm, and unshaken by their attempts. The family slowly began to adapt to this new reality. Friends and distant relatives started seeing the dynamics for what they were. The golden child illusion shattered, and my sister's public image began to align more closely with reality. People started respecting her honesty in admitting her mistakes. My mom's credibility, however, declined steadily. It became harder for her to justify her actions, especially as people learned about the money transfers and the deliberate favoritism. One night, my sister came over to my apartment. She looked different, more composed, more self-aware. "I've been thinking a lot about everything," she said.